thank you so much for again visiting my channel. It is your motivation, it is your relentless support that keeps us active, tells us that nahi nahi ab video banana hai, nahi nahi ab editing karna hai, get up and get going. So thank you so much. Just stay tuned. This video is going to be exquisite. We are going to talk about the G7 summit. If you don't know, don't leave the video. Buddha says that learning should never stop. Stay tuned. Thank you for your support. I have divided this video between 5 parts. That is, firstly, we are going to discuss about what is the G7 summit. Second, what is the purpose of the summit. Third, what is India's stand in this summit. Fourth, what is G7 communique. And last but not the least is the conclusion. Stay tuned. Talking about what is exactly this G7 summit. Well, what is G7? Firstly, that question occurs in the mind, yes. So G7, the name itself suggests that it is a group of 7. G7, group of 7 countries, group of 7 advanced economies, big economies of the world, including UK, USA, Japan, France, Canada, Italy, and Germany. So this summit started on 11th June. Current affairs. This is also a part of your current affairs. So it started on 11th June, and the last day was 13th June. It was a 3-day summit, of course, and it took place in UK, Cornwall, UK. So UK was the host country, of course, and G7 took place at Carbis Bay. Now, this Carbis Bay is a beautiful seaside resort. Yes, the G7 summit took place here. That was all about what is G7 summit. We know now what is the G7 2021. But do we know the purpose of this G7 2021? Well, of course not. Let us know it quickly. So the purpose of G7 2021 aimed, of course, at the COVID recovery. So COVID-19, of course, had shattered lives. Of course, in some countries is shattering lives. But the aim of this G7 2021 was really noble, to know all the things regarding COVID, to discuss everything related to COVID recovery, and to build such a healthcare system, global healthcare system, that would help us fight the future pandemics. And another agenda of this G7 Summit 2021 was to hold discussions on the never ending topics like climate change and trade. So, in a nutshell, let us quickly recollect what is the purpose of this G7 2021. First is COVID recovery, second is climate change, and third is discussions about trade and all. अगर पर्पस समझा है तो ही आगे बढ़ते हैं. Of course समझा है यार, अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let us get going to the most interesting and the most awaited question, that says that what is India's stand? What is India's stand, or what is India's role in this global summit? So PM Modi, this is an interesting one. Okay? PM Modi, he participated the summit virtually. Of course, he was not able to participate the summit in person because of the COVID situation, COVID pandemic in India. So PM Modi participated virtually, and the message he articulated was deep enough. He said the mantra was one earth, one health, and this mantra was for the global cooperation and also to fight against the future pandemics as well. And India is, you need to remember this, that India is not a member of G7. India was actually invited by the host country UK, the PM of the host country, Boris Johnson. Yes, India is not a member of this summit. And another thing, that this mantra, one health, one earth, one health, it received support from the G7 members, from most of the G7 members. And German Chancellor Angela Merkel, she actually referred this mantra in her speech. and we got a tough support from France, of course. France President Emmanuel Macron, he called for easing the trade restrictions or easing the supply of raw material for the vaccine production in India. So India was largely benefited by the G7 summit, of course. So now, what is this G7 communique? वेल भयंकर नाम सुन के भागने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है, हम बिल्कुल चुटकियों में से रिजॉल्व कर देंगे. सो व्हाट इज दिस G7 communique? Well, the leaders or the officials have published a 25-paged communique discussing all the key agendas that they discussed in the G7 summit. So this communique was to be released by the host country, United Kingdom. So yes, this said, the key agenda points were as follows. First was COVID recovery, of course, coronavirus. Second was helping smaller countries grow and recover faster, and cover the backlog that the smaller countries faced during this pandemic. Third was the climate change issue. So, in the coronavirus or COVID recovery thing, they said that they promised each other that they are going to help smaller countries by providing over 1 billion of vaccine doses so as to recover and grow faster and help combat this issue. Second is they are going to help smaller countries recover, in which they have committed each other, European countries or the G7 members, they have committed each other to help smaller countries recover with jobs and with a lot of unemployment, with hunger growing like nothing. And in the third, that is the climate change, the leaders, they have committed to a green revolution that said that would limit the rise of temperature in the global earth's temperature, and also they have promised to halve the the global carbon emissions, half the global carbon emissions by 2030, and also to protect 30% of land and oceans by 2030. Isn't it fascinating? So this was all about the communique. The conclusion is indeed important. So the G7 summit did wonders. Of course, G7 summit 2021, it brought the global leaders, global faces together. And an interesting fact, they greeted each other with an elbow bump, which was to be done like this. So it brought the world leaders together. They discussed about the global ongoing issues, global problems, uh, and by and large, or in a nutshell, they vote to help the poorer countries, they vote to reduce the carbon emissions, they vote even to protect land and sea, of course, and to maintain comradeship between the countries, or the kinship between each other. So that was all about the video. Thanks for watching.